Hello everyone, I am Arshivin Tandil and I live with my family in the University of Mumbai. Today I am going to be talking about the trees of University of Mumbai. The first tree that comes in our list is the Australian Acacia. Its flowering is from December to January and fruiting is from February to March. This tree can grow up to 25 meters tall and leaves can be up to 10 to 16 centimeters long. Our next tree in the list comes the tree called wood, which we all know famously as the banyan tree. It's an evergreen tree with numerous aerial roots from branches. Our next tree is the Sonmohar tree, which is one of the very most common trees grown, as it is a very fast growing tree and it is usually planted alongside roads to improve the greenery. It has a dense comb spreading and an umbrella shaped crown. Our next tree is the rain tree. It's a large tree that can grow up to 25 meters tall, almost the height of the Australian acacia. Our next tree is the currant. It is a gum tree that grows up to 50 to 80 feet in the height with a large canopy that spreads equally wide. Next, we have the peepal tree from the Moraceous family. It's a large deciduous tree with aerial roots absent. Its leaves are simple, alternate, broadly ovate. This tree is also a very sacred tree to the Hindu community and it is planted close to the temples. Our next tree that comes in the list is the Kadamb. This tree can grow up to 45 meters tall. Its leaves are simple, which can grow up to 13 to 32 centimeters long. It has orange, small, indents, globous heads, and its fruits are small capsules. Our next tree is the rosy trumpet tree. It's also a large deciduous tree with a round or spreading crown. Its leaves are compound digitate and deciduous. Each of its leaves has 5 leaflets of variable sizes, the middle one being the largest. The flowers are also large and various tones of pink and purple. Our next tree is Bakul. It is an it is also an evergreen tree which can grow up to 20 meters tall. It has a dark grey bark. Its leaves are simple alternate elliptic oblong. It has bisexual white fragrant and axillary fascicles. Our next tree is the Jamun tree. It is an evergreen tree that can grow up to 30 meters tall. Its leaves are simple, opposite smooth, electric to oblong. It provides a greenish white in cluster fruit, the fruit jamun that we all love to devour in our summertime. Our next tree is the Gulmohar tree. The Gulmohar tree belongs to the Fabaceae family. This tree can grow up to 24 inches long and 2 inches wide. Its seeds weigh around zero point 0.4 grams on an average of leaf is 3000 to 50 centimeters, which is around 12 to 20 centimeters long. As our next tree that comes is the bottle palm tree. This tree can reach up a height up to 20 to 30 meters tall. Its flowers are white with pink anthers. The fruit is paired to the ellipsoid in shape. They are green when they're immature, turning red and eventually purplish black as they mature. Our next tree now is the Phandra Chafa. Its, its botanical name is Blue Maria rubra. Its branches are somewhat like brittle. Our next tree is the very well known tree Neem, which we know that in the earlier times where there were no modern toothbrushes like today, its branches were used and as toothbrushes in rural areas. Our next tree is Chikoo tree, which is also very well known to us. It's a very small evergreen tree. It has pale yellow clustered at the apex of the branches. Its fruit, which is spherical in shape with a brown outer coating, when cut in having it contains a big seed and it is quite gooey and sweet when ripe. Our next tree is the African tulip tree. It's a medium-sized tree which can grow up into a large tree. It has glossy deep green pinnate leaves and glorious orange flowers. It's great used as a shape even for its color and tropical effect. Now, now we will discuss about the two types of badams. The common badam, and the second one that we are going to discuss is the Jungli Badam. The Jungli Badam is from the Malvaceae family. Its flowering and fruiting is between the months February and May. It's a Java olive tree which is tall and straight. Its flowers appear early in February, which are 1 foot in length. The, the reddish green stems bear numerous short branch stalks, each terminating in a crimson brown flower. Our next the common badam that we all like to eat, our dry fruit, is from the Combretaceae family. This tree can grow up to 40 meters in height and is mainly found in Asia. Its leaves are long, smooth, greenish white flowers in spike. Its edible fruits are fibrous with tender skin and a thin layer of subacid, juicy flesh. Our next tree is the tree called Umbar. It is from the Moraceous family. This tree is a medium tall and quite green foliage that provides a good shade. The dark the leaves are dark green, 7.5 to 10 centimeters long, ovate or elliptic, in large clusters from old nodes of main trunk. The fruit receptacles are 2 to 5 centimeters in diameter, pyriform in large clusters. The fruit resembles the figs and green when raw, turning orange, dull reddish, or green crimson on ripening. Our next tree is the tree called Taman. Its flowering and fruiting is in between the months March and January. It is a small to medium sized deciduous tree growing up to 20 meters tall. Its leaves are simple, acute apex. Its flowers are purple, large, showy, and erect panicle. This tree is planted and as an avenue tree because of its showy flowers. Our next tree is the guava, or also known as Peru. It's from the Myrtaceae family. Its flowering and fruiting is throughout the year, and it's native to the Caribbean, South Sea America, and South America, but now widely cultivated throughout the tropical and subtropical regions around the world. It's an evergreen tropical small growing tree which can grow up to 10 meters high. Shallow roots in system, low drooping branches and leaves growing in pairs opposite to each other. Its flowers are white in color. Its fruit is fleshy, pyriform, ovoid berry. Our next tree that is known as the fishtail palm tree. It's from the Acacia family. It's an evergreen tree growing up to 12 meters by 6 meters. This plant is not a self fertile. It can grow in full shade semi shade, or no shade. It prefers moist soil. Its flowering and fruiting is the entire time of summer. Our next tree that also comes in the list is the very well known tree to the Christians, the Christmas tree. And now that Christmas is arriving, it's a great time to talk about this tree as well. This tree flowering and fruiting is between the months March to December. It's quite relatively short, mostly horizontal branches in walls. Its branches are lined with cord-like horizontal branches. Its branches are covered with small green incurved point-tipped, spirally arranged overlapping leaves. Our next tree is called the Asupalav, which it belongs to the Acacia family. Its flowering and fruiting is between the months February to June. This evergreen tree can grow up to 10 meters in height. Its leaves are membranous, tapering to the fine point, shining glabrous, margin undulate or wavy gland dotted. Its inflorescence is fascicle or shortly pedicled umbel. Our next tree that comes is the very famous coconut tree. The water from this coconut fruit, which we all love to drink during a very hot day, and the inner coatings which we find, which we also call in Hindi malai, which we all like to eat. This tree is an evergreen tree which can grow up to 30 meters tall with long pinnate leaves that break away, cleaning away the unbranched trunk smooth. The fruit is, which we know, drupe comprised of three layers: the exocarp, mesocarp, and the endocarp. The flowers of coconut palm are polygamous with both male and female in same inflorescence. The next tree that comes in our list is also known as the Indian rubber tree, and with the name we know that it's native to the Indian subcontinent. This evergreen tree can grow up to 12 meters in height, and its leaves are simple, shiny elliptic oblong, distinctly serrated. The male flowers with short stalk, female flowers with 1 to 3 in leaf axil. The fruit are ellipsoid and white, velvety. The next tree is the cannonball tree. It's quite funny to see actually a cannon growing on the tree, as its fruit is pretty much like a cannon which can be thrown around and played with it. Anyways, I'll describe this tree in detail. It's a deciduous tropical tree which performs well in well drained soils and grows up to 35 meters high. Its leaves are about 10 inches long and 4 inches wide. Our next tree is known as the Nilgiri tree, which is from the Martaceae family. The evergreen tree can grow up to 180 feet by 49 feet at a fast rate. Its bark is mostly smooth with juvenile leaves that are whitish and waxy on the lower surface, glossy green, lance-shaped adult leaves, glaucous ribbed flowers, bud arranged singly. The next tree that comes in our leaf is called the Saptaparni. It belongs to the Apocynaceae family. It's a tree that can grow up to 75 meters in height. It's a really which can it can grow up really high. The leaves are in 4 to 7 whorls. Its flowers are fragrant. Our next tree that is called Kanchan. It is a deciduous tree that can grow up to 12 meters. Its bark is grey and grey cracked. Leaves are in two lobes similar to a cow's foot. Its flowers are purple with distinct dorsal petal. Its fruit has a flat pod. It can grow in semi-shade or no shade. It prefers moist or wet soil. The next tree is called Asana from the Phyllantheraceae family. This tree is identified by the rigid leathery leaves with straight parallel lateral veins and strong spines on the bark of young stems. It is drought hardy species and produces root suckers and good copaceous. The next tree that is called as the kashit or the silk cotton tree, it belongs to the Leguminosae family. This tree can grow up to 25 to 30 meters tall with large leaves varying from red to various lighter shades. Its branches are in whorls, horizontal, covered with sharp woody spines. Its flowers appear in early spring when the tree is leafless. It is a soft wooded tree. Its leaflets are arranged like fingers on an hand. And to end on a good note, our last tree for the day is the tree called mango and the mango fruit that we all love to eat during our summer times. I'm sure every one of us love the fruit. Let's see about it. It's a large evergreen growing tree that can grow up to 45 meters in height and 120 centimeters in ball diameter. The canopy is umbrella shaped and spreading its panicle terminals, its flower uni or bisexual, petals creamy and white in color. The fruit is drupe, ovoid oblong, and to add a personal touch, this tree is my favorite tree and also happens to be the state tree of Maharashtra. Hope you have obtained a glimpse of the rich biodiversity of the trees in the campus of the University of Mumbai. Thank you. Till then.